Hi, Mark here at the Average Me channel. Today I am going to hang my Haunted Mansion banner. It's going to go right here where Thomas O'Malley and Duchess are right now, so we're going to have to take that down. Then I'm going to put the banner up. And it's a pretty simple process, but I know if you've never done something like this, it could be kind of challenging or intimidating. It really is quite simple, so I'm going to walk you through the steps. First, let's take a look at the tools that you'll need. A tape measure or some kind of measuring device, a pencil, a drill, appropriate size drill bit, and a level. Now you won't need a level necessarily, but it sure makes the job a lot easier. You could always just measure down from the ceiling or measure up from the floor. What I like to do is just kind of eyeball where I want this to be. The reason I use a level is I want to make sure that this end is at the same level as this end, so my banner isn't hanging in a crooked way. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out the distance between the post ends. So when you buy something like this, what they give you is the banner. They give you the post. They actually give you more rods than you need. And then they give you the ends. Now, there's one other thing that I'm going to show you, and that is this hanger. So that's what it's going to hang on, and it will rest just like this. So here's a hanger, and it'll rest just like that. Now, there's not a lot of space, just about the exact amount of space you need on this end and on this end to fit each of these. So I want to make sure that the spacing is exact. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to measure from the end of this rod cap to the inside end of this rod cap right here. And then I'm going to subtract the distance of the width of this hanger. Now, why am I only going to have the distance of one? There's one on each side. Right, but when we have to put the screw in, the screw is only half the size of this. So it's going to be, from one end it's going to be halfway in, and from the other end it's going to be halfway in. So again, my measurement is the distance from inside this rod cap to the inside of this rod cap minus the width of the hanger. And that should give me the exact distance I need in order to hang this properly. That distance ended up being 27 5/8 inches. This bracket is 5/8 inches wide, so that means my brackets are going to be set center to center 27 inches apart. So now what I'm going to do on my wall is find the center point at the height I want the banner to be hung. Taking that 27 inches and splitting it, dividing it by 2, that means from that center point I'm going to have one bracket 13.5 inches in this direction, and one bracket 13.5 inches in this direction. That means it'll be centered 27 inches, and that's where I'm going to drill my holes and hang my brackets. So I found my center point. I put my level up here. I made sure that the bubble was centered, and I measured over 13.5 inches in either direction from that center point, and I marked it with a crosshair. That's where I'm going to drill the hole for my brackets. In the hanging kit, you also get the screws and these anchors. Now, these anchors are for mounting this into drywall, because drywall, is thin. It doesn't hold a screw very well. So what you do is you drill a hole for these. These get inserted into it, and then the screw screws into there. When the screw goes in, these expand and they tighten up in the hole, and that's what anchors it so well. So what you really need now is a drill that fits this size. Now, typically on packages, they will tell you what size drill bit to use. In this packaging, they didn't. So what I'm going to do is get a drill bit that is the size of the top minus the little wings or the flanges. Can you see those little flanges on there? Those are going to not be included in my calculations because those kind of grip the side of the drywall. An interesting thing happened when I was drilling one of the holes. I hit a drywall stud. Now normally I would run my stud detector and I would find where those are. In this case, I know there's not any wiring behind the wall at that height. I know there is no plumbing back there. And the reason I know that is because the garage is on the other side of this wall and I know where the wiring is. So under normal circumstances, we have to be very careful when drilling into a wall so we don't hit those things. Now, since I hit a stud, it actually makes my job a little easier because I don't, on that side anyway, I no longer have to put the anchors in. I'm just going to drill a smaller pilot hole and go in directly with the screw. So I have one anchor in place, I'm going to put the next one in, and then I will hang the bracket. Now you can see if I try to put a screw through there, I probably, well, the bottom one I could, but the top one, I would not be able to get a screwdriver. So this comes apart. So what I'm going to do is take this apart, screw in the L bracket, and also what this allows us to do is come closer or further away from the wall. Where it's set right now, kind of about halfway is pretty good. But I'm going to have to take that apart just so I can get the bracket screwed to the wall. Okay, this is a little hard to do with one hand, so I'm sorry if the camera's shaking a little bit. But all I have to do now is put this bracket on, put the set screw back from underneath, and repeat it on the other side, and I'm ready to hang my Haunted Mansion tapestry. So there are my brackets. You can see I did not take out the picture hanger because the banner's going to hang over it, and one day I might want to put the picture of Thomas O'Malley and the Duchess back up. And there's the finished product. I think we centered it pretty well. I still have a mess to clean up here, but I will do that in just a minute. First, I'd like to show you some of my other Disney collectibles that are going to go with this banner. The first thing you probably noticed was my big Mickey. I don't know if they sell these anymore. I'll give you a closer view of it. So there's Mickey. And beneath him, we'll see how good a view we can get. I might have to open the cabinet doors. But we have the Haunted Mansion mirror. Let's see if I don't want to spin that around. But there's a mirror on the other side. A couple of Haunted Mansion goblets. There's the Hatbox Ghost. This is really interesting because this is actually a magnetic mask and it can be removed and put into the hat box. Here we have the grandfather clock from the Haunted Mansion. This is actually a working clock. It does have a pendulum that works. It ticks so loudly though that I have a tendency to just turn it off. And we get down here, we get into the stretching room. I still have to get the other two. Right now these are my only two stretching room pieces. And as we go a little further, and you can see the hitchhiking ghosts. And further still, and we have the organ. Now the organ does have an organist that sits there. He's not there right now. That has nothing to do with Disney. That's just my cat's toy. And if you watch my videos regularly, you're probably familiar with my mantelpieces, Cogsworth and Lumiere. And there's Cinderella's Castle. That's a nice piece as well. And there's one of my favorite pieces. I got that for Christmas, the Haunted Mansion sign. And look at that. I already found a place for those two lovebirds. And now I have one more thing to enjoy in my Disney room. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Mark with the Average Me channel.